Good afternoon, everybody. To my former York High School team, I wanted to let you know that I wore the Falcon Blue one last time just for you. I am going today to address the special education improvement goal for the York High School School Improvement Plan. To do so, I'm going to address 4 talking points. The first one was to explain the reasons it was necessary to create a specific improvement goal for special education students. The AMO data reveals that students with disabilities lag behind their peers in English and in math performance. Providing additional instruction is needed to help students with assessment performance and to meet the graduation requirements. The second talking point was to explain the process in detail by which teachers and students were supported to improve teaching and learning outcomes. We created what we called the mini lessons during the 15-15. The 15-15 was a rule we had where students were not to be dismissed or called out of class during the first 15 minutes of class and the last 15 minutes of class. We saw this as a golden opportunity to utilize remediation and review. We met as a faculty to discuss the mini lessons. We met with SPED teachers and we met with collaborative teachers in separate environments. Then we pulled them all together and they were given written step-by-step directions of the expectation. The written expectations were given because verbally, when we discussed it, there were some issues in cooperation between the general ed teacher and the special ed teacher. By giving step-by-step directions and by meeting with them in groups and together, it really improved the performance of this expectation. Special education teachers used Critical Friends protocol during their special education content meetings to strengthen their lessons and to receive feedback from their peers. Also, during special education meetings, it was discussed how the meetings were going and how the lessons were going, and in the meeting, how could the lessons be improved. If there were issues, then an administrator met with the general education teacher and or the department chair, depending on the nature and severity of the need. Number 3 was to explain the data collection analysis and reteaching strategies that were used. Data was collected from formal assessments, both on tests and on quizzes, and students were identified who struggled or did not pass the test or the quiz, and they were given a reteach in a different format. I do want to emphasize that special education teachers and general education teachers were told that this did not have to be special education students, even though this was our target audience. Lessons were retaught in a manner different from the initial instruction, and the expectation was that it be hands-on, engaging, and interactive. This was important during Critical Friends protocol, as teachers would struggle with the idea of how to teach it differently, so they received a lot of feedback from their peers and were able to make the lesson different than it was the first time. The 4th talking point was other information to share regarding special education. This past school year, emphasis was placed on addressing IEP goals during academic lab. Also, an emphasis was placed on writing skills and math skills regardless of the grade level of the student. We wanted to move away from academic lab as a homework completion or catch up on work period, and more towards organizational skills and meeting IEP goals. That is the 4 talking points for the special education part of the York High School School Improvement Plan. I thank you for your attention.